What is going on, everybody? I'm really excited for this module. It is about purpose, and this is what we're basically living right now. We're fulfilling our purpose in life, and this is incredibly important because if you don't have something to attack in your life, it's basically you're heading towards a life with an unsatisfactory existence. That's basically a life without purpose, and what that is.
Listen, every single one of us were born for a reason. And it's your job to figure out what that is. See, it's no accident that you're here. It is 1 in 400 trillion that you even exist.
Right. The fact that you're here is actually a miracle. I mean, it's pretty crazy to think about it that way.
And you need to figure out what that is. And everybody has a different purpose. And we're going to work through how you can figure this out and really figure out where your sweet spot is in life. Because when you find that, the sky is the limit.
See, everybody has their own unique gifts in life. And there's a quote by Albert Einstein I really like, and it's, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will think it's stupid its entire life. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. A fish is really good at swimming, and but if you judge its ability to do other things, it will not look very bright.
Yes. That's what the problem with standardized education these days is, because everybody has to fit this specific format
in the box
of what they think that intelligence is or what success is, and that's just simply not true. Anybody can, with a good test-taking ability, can answer multiple choice questions or memorize stuff. That doesn't make you smart or intelligent or capable of doing anything. The real value in life is finding your purpose, and the thing about that is you got to figure out what makes you special. See, you've had very, very unique experiences, perspectives, and opportunities in your life that have molded you and cultivated you into the person that you are today. And we need to learn how to utilize these things to your advantage and double up on the things that you're good at and what drive you and set you on fire.
Yeah, I mean, think about what we're doing right now. I mean, I was really successful or unsuccessful, it depends on how you look at it, on using drugs and obtaining knowledge on how to use drugs. And I used that weakness at one point, because that was hindering my life, to actually become my strength, because I learned how to get sober. I know the tools and how that has worked for me. And this is what I do for a living. Yeah. It's like, seriously, if you think about how simple this is, and this is my purpose. Yeah. You know, the world needs it. It's something that I enjoy doing, and it's a form of contribution. And so you have to think about what your purpose is in life.
Excellent. I have a very similar background to my friend Connor here, and my expertise was doing drugs and failing. I mean, I failed more. I'm a professional failure. Yeah. I failed more times than I can ever even imagine or count. But what it did make me learn is how not to fail, how not to do drugs, how to avoid these pitfalls in your life, and share them and contribute them to you and to everybody that I meet. And that's just an amazingly powerful purpose. And we're going to talk about those higher purposes very shortly.
The idea with purpose here is that your why, your desire to achieve something or to get something accomplished, needs to be so strong. It needs to drive you and motivate you to where you don't need to be motivated to put in the work to achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of work involved with making this course, with making content. Like I like to make content on TikTok, which is a social media account. There's a lot of work involved working with clients, but this is something that I love to do. It does not feel like work. And so yes, on the surface, it looks like there's a lot of work, but I enjoy doing it. And when you enjoy doing something and it's serving your purpose, you're going to get up and do it every single day. You don't have to trick yourself into doing something that it's a nuisance.
Yes, I 100% agree with you, man. A great book that I suggest everybody to read. I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And there's 13 chapters in the book, but a few specifically that really hit into purpose is you have to have the desire. Yeah. You have to have a burning desire inside you to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. Because without that, you're just going to give up.
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to be a fly-by-night thing. You go to the next thing.
It's got to stir something inside of you.
Yeah, and you have to have faith. You have to have faith that this is what you're supposed to do. And nothing's going to stop you because you're meant to do this.
Right. And to touch on that real quick, faith is knowing. Belief is like a hypothesis where you want to look into something, you believe something to be true. Faith is knowing. It's
undeniable.
Like faith when you turn on the light switch. You have faith that the light is going to come on. You don't need to believe that the light is going to come on. You know it's going to come on. That's the difference between faith and belief.
That's great, man. You bring up a lot of powerful points, and you're absolutely right. It has to be that undeniable faith, that driving, burning desire. And thirdly, you have to have persistence. But that comes with faith and desire. When you have those two, you match them up together and you have a persistence that nothing is going to stop you. You know, the most incredible people in the world had the best persistence, and that's the only reason why they ever got through it. I mean, Albert Einstein was called an idiot in high school. He became one of the greatest scientists in the whole world. Michael Jordan got cut by his high school basketball team, and he said, you know what, I'm going to practice every single day, and I'm going to show you because this is what I desire to do, and I have faith that I'm going to be the best basketball player who ever lived. And that persistence is what got him to where he needed to go. And you need to have that. But first you need to figure out what that purpose is so you can align all of these powerful forces to work for you.
And the biggest thing, this is first and foremost, is when you're starting to pursue something that is going to touch on your purpose, something that you're driven to do, you have to believe in yourself first. This is a must. It's non-negotiable. And now you might not know how to get there, and that's okay. It doesn't actually matter. It doesn't matter how you're going to get there. You're going to figure out along the way, but you have to believe in yourself because people will never believe in you until you believe in yourself. People in your circle, people in your family, they're going to want to believe you and want to support you, but you need to be the first. You need to be a leader in your own life.
Yeah, they got to see it in your eyes because I've done so many businesses and my family and friends are like, oh, yeah, that's great. Good luck with that.
Their vision isn't the same.
Exactly. And you know what? It failed because I didn't quite believe in myself. But when you talk about addiction and you talk about recovery and you talk about all of these different things that I'm super passionate about, there's a look in my eyes that nothing is going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. There's no way that I'm not going to be saving lives for the rest of my life in recovery and helping them overcome challenges. There's no way. I know in my heart, in my soul, that this is the only way for me. And when people look at me, they know that I'm for real because they know I'm about this life.
And the cool part about this is when you start to believe in yourself like that and people start to tell you that you can't do it or they start to try to push you down, it actually, in a weird way, fuels you a little bit. Because I couldn't wait to be able to prove people wrong.
The naysayers in your face.
Yeah, they're not there to be obstacles in your way. Obstacles are always going to be in your way, and obstacles are the way. And so there are going to be many people that try to tell you that your vision is crazy, that it's not realistic, it's not the safe route. Listen, nobody remembers the person who played it safe. You got to be able to live a life that is worth struggling for. Life has to be a worthwhile struggle.
Yeah, you know why there is struggle? To thin out the herd, because not everybody can be the best. So there's a hierarchy of success, and you got to climb that mountain, and you got to climb those boulders and those mountaintops and overcome these challenges that some people give up on. And that's where you separate the average from the winners to the champions to the Hall of Famers. And how the more perseverance, the more challenge you get, it just makes you the person you are. It gives you that resilience and that strength and that courage and that ferocity to overcome anything. And you're going to earn it. And the best thing about that is when you earn something like that, it sticks with you forever. See, you can take money from a billionaire and they'll make it back. You can bring them to dead zero. And if they have that mentality and they have those experiences and they challenged and they overcame all these things, you can start off from scratch. You can put them anywhere. And they'll figure out how to get that money because that's who they are. And that's who you need to become is your purpose.
And what you need to know is that, like we were talking about with obstacles, it's not supposed to be easy. It's not meant to be easy. There are things that, there's going to be things that you don't want to do, but you got to have the discipline to do to get to that next level, to get to where you want to go. It's kind of like everybody wants to live a 3% life. You know, everybody wants to have the best of the best, and they want to have all the fruits, but they don't want to put in the labor, you know? And the thing is with people who are successful and are chasing their purpose, they put in an immense amount of work and have discipline, and they're dedicated to the process. So the idea is, when it's something that you love and it's something that you're passionate about, something that gets you excited and it gets you going, it gives you energy, you're not going to stop with the process if you love what you're doing.
If you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Man. If you enjoy it, enjoy that process.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the process, life is going to be a ball.
It's 90% of it.
It's 90% of life is the process. If you can fall in love with the process, you have the life of your dreams. But you got to find that thing that makes you that excited about life. And it might be something career-wise, it might be something that you just do relationship-wise, or you give to other people, or you become. There's all types of different purposes.
And you can have different purposes too. Yeah. It's not that you just have to have one. And what makes me think of that is, let's say I never went the addiction or alcoholic route, you know, and that's not where my life led me. There would still be a purpose for me. But since my life led me that way, it has now become something that is so meaningful to me because of my past experiences with it. You know, the fact that I struggled in this area of my life, and I know what that feeling of desperation is like. This is what I want to contribute to the world. And so without those tough times, I wouldn't have this purpose myself. Now, there could be another purpose for me in the future. Doesn't mean that you just have one.
Yeah, you might. A purpose might be for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime. But what I really highly suggest is try to focus on one thing at a time. You can have multi-purposes, but focus is a powerful force. You need to focus your energies on one thing at a time. Try not to be doing 3 things at the same time.
Yeah.
If you have a bunch of things you need to do, focus on one thing for a day or a week or whatever time, then move on to the next thing, then go back, or whatever you need to do. But make sure you're not split-minded, because split-minded makes life a lot more difficult. So, I know you're going to hear this time and time again throughout this program, but about the 6 human needs. But today, we're going to focus on 2 specifically. And these are the spiritual needs. This is the growth and contribution. And these are the most powerful needs anybody can ever have, because there's no negative connotation with growth. There's no negative connotation with contribution. You can't contribute in a negative way. You can't grow in a negative way either. These are both positive, beneficial things for you, society, and everybody around you. And this is what purpose is. When you're growing and you're expanding who you are and becoming bigger, better, and stronger than you were yesterday, and you're adding value to some kind of life or your life, that's your purpose. Whether it be providing for your family, whether it be community, whether it be just for yourself, for your health, whatever it might be, that might be your purpose. Or contributing to society on a bigger thing. When you step outside of yourself and you start serving others, is the most rewarding thing you can possibly ever do. And that's what your purpose is for. That's why that was created. Contributing and growing is where you step into your sweet spot of life. So what we talked about what makes you special, what makes you unique, what is your calling? That's your call for contribution to society. Whether you make the best bowling shoes in the United States or you write beautiful music.
Exactly. It could be super niche.
Yeah.
I mean, it does not have to be you're serving the world and saving everybody. It does not have to be that whatsoever.
It doesn't need to be that value. You might have a cockroach farm that brings joy to certain people that like cockroaches. I mean, there's a niche for everybody.
Yeah.
There's people that like anything. There's people that like baseball cards and comics. People that need security. People that like dancing, roller skating, hockey. I mean, you name it, there's a purpose for everybody. And there's a purpose in society because people like to do that, or people value those things. And just because you're not serving the whole world does not mean that your purpose isn't amazing. Because there needs to be a person for everyone, for everything, for every experience. Somebody has to fill that void in this world, and that might be you. Something
that I know for myself, and something that I've experienced a few different times, specifically going on this route into recovery and what I wanted to contribute is, like we touched on before, your why has to be really strong, but you need to have a vision. You need to think about how it is that you want to impact others and serve others. And it's unbelievable what happens when you create a vision for yourself. It's very interesting what happens to our subconscious mind when we start to have dreams and aspirations and do some daydreaming and kind of, we've experienced this when we were kids. If you think about it, most kids, they're dreamers and they look at the world differently and in a free, exciting light. And as we get older, a lot of people get those things taken away from us, but we're meant to have this vision and to chase something that excites us.
Yeah, I completely 100% agree. And one thing I want to add to that is when you have that vision, it's your perception on life of where you're trying to go. So now you're focused on what you want to do, what you're trying to do, and then you get an opportunity. And you need to keep your eyes out for opportunities because they're everywhere.
And when you're focused on something, you're going to notice the opportunities.
Exactly where I'm going with this. When you're focused on something, you're focused on a vision, opportunities are going to arise. And when you get that midpoint where they meet, that's where the doors open and where purpose blossoms. It's very, very powerful. That's why you need to know what you want to do in life. Because when that opportunity arises, you need to be prepared to take the action and step up. If you don't know what you want to do, you might have people knocking at the door with opportunities all the time. But if you don't know if that's what you want to do, or that's your purpose and that's your desire in life, you might not answer the door. You'll be like, it's the mailman or whatever the case may be, and you might just let it sling by. So it's very, very important to get laser focused and crystal clear on what you want to do, what your vision is, and why you want to do it. Because when the opportunity arises, you want to be willing to take it and be prepared.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is that we manifest our reality. Again, this starts with vision, and I think it begins with thought. You have to start thinking about where it is that you want to go. It's like, I believe we've talked about this in a module, is you got to have a target. You got to establish a target for yourself in order to hit it. Because if you don't have a target, you're not going to hit anything. You're just basically going to be going wherever life takes you. But when you get laser focused, like Kevin said, you establish, okay, this is where I am now, and this is where I want to go. And it's really interesting, the opportunities that do show up, and you start to manifest things when you're focused on it. Like the reason why me and Kevin even met was because I was in a place where it's really interesting. I was basically in this space in my life where I was saying yes to everything. I was doing self-development. I was just saying yes to all these different opportunities. I was starting to socialize with people, and basically what happened was I ended up in a what was it, a multi-level marketing business meeting, and I was at this meeting, and I heard someone get called on. I said, hey, what do you do? What do you do for a living? And it turned out to be Kevin. And Kevin said, I'm a recovery coach. I help people with addictions. I'm a public speaker. I'm working on my book. I mean, he said all of these things that I literally defined for myself just a few months back. I'm not even joking. I mean, it was ridiculous, really. I was amazed. I was like, wait, what is going on? And so I said, I gotta talk with this guy. I said, I have to talk with this guy and figure out how I can be in that position, because I knew that was exactly what I wanted to do, and I was focused on it. And that was my vision for myself. So these opportunities show up, and I used to kind of laugh at people when they would say, oh, you manifest, oh, you're too optimistic, or it's positive thinking. And the truth is you get what you focus on. Like, if negative thinking breeds negative results. I mean, think about what your mentality has maybe been like, and what kind of results have you gotten? Why not try something different? What are you focused on?
Yeah, it's a simple statement for that. Where focus goes, energy flows. And even stupid things like, do you ever think about For instance, I just bought a nice truck. I got a nice Durango truck, and I never seen them on the road anywhere. Ever since I bought them, everywhere I go, I see somebody driving a Durango.
There's one. Yeah.
I mean, it's out of control. It's like because and they were there the whole time. I just wasn't focused on that specific thing, and it was just unconsciously passing me by. But now that it was on my mind, I see everybody has one. When you ever think about somebody and they call, there's just these synchronicities that start attracting into your life, and you need to be aware of them and focused to receive them. That was a really great thing. I seen this guy. I'm so blessed that actually came up and said something, because now I have an amazing business partnership. I have a really good friend, and I have somebody that I can synergize with to really impact the world in so many different ways. And if I don't know something, he knows it. If he don't know it, I know it. And it's a really, really powerful force. I'm really, really excited to work with him in the future as well, because everything we do has been really, really successful. And I'm just really glad that that specific experience happened.
Yeah, it's amazing that the universe brings you what you ask of it. And I think there's a saying that Tony Robbins has said, and I really liked it. And it's what you get out of life is basically what you ask of it, or something along those lines. And a lot of people aren't asking for enough. You're not setting the bar high enough for yourself. What standards do you have for yourself? What are you focused on? And so get really laser focused about what you want out of life. What excites you?
So what I can tell you to be really, really impactful in this world and be fulfilled in all of these things is you got to eat, breathe, and sleep your purpose. Now, I'm not saying you can't have other aspects of your life, but this should always be in the back of your mind no matter what you're doing. Because if it's not moving you towards that goal, then you shouldn't be doing it.
Everything's secondary.
So same thing with dieting. Like, I'm on a very strict diet right now. And yeah, I love Funyuns and cheesecake and all that stuff. I love all the good things. I like pastas and cheeses and all that stuff. But my goal is to get super healthy, super energized, and lose 30 pounds. And I'm going to do it. Anything else that keeps me out of that trajectory is non-existent. And if I keep my eye on the prize, I will succeed. But if I start looking through here or start looking through here, you're going to start swaying your morals, your integrity, and what you're really trying to accomplish. So make sure you live it, because when people see that you're living it, they know you're about that life, and they'll follow you to the end.
At the end of the day, it takes hard work, right? Life is full of hard work, one way or the other. Do you want to put in the hard work chasing something that you enjoy and that you love, or do you want to give in to instant gratification?
I was going to say, definitely. It's either you're going to pay for it now, or you're going to pay for it later.
Yeah.
And the instant gratification never pays off.
Yeah. No, 100%. You're going to pay for it somewhere along the line. If you do the things that aren't fulfilling, but it's the shiny toy, right? Like you said, like you just mentioned, you're on this strict diet, and you know that this is what you want to do. Now, the instant gratification part of you really wants that cheesecake, really wants
that cheesecake.
I do too. But the thing is that you know what your goal is. You're focused on your vision, and you might need to struggle a little bit. You might need to have the discipline and put in the hard work of not eating those foods and getting over those mental hurdles, but you're going to get the reward later.
100%.
And the best things in life are the rewards that come later, because you got to put in the work first. And people will call it dumb luck. They'll say, whatever things you worked for, oh, it's just luck that you got there. And people are pretty much dumb for thinking that. So you need to realize that you're going to put in the work somewhere. Now, you get to choose on is it in the beginning you want to put the hard work in, or do you want to pay for it later on?
Yeah, everybody that's not into self-development and personal development and just does what they got to do and follows the regular people think the stupid basic things are stupid. But I'm telling you, the little implications that you can put into your life, like simple things, like having a vision board, having something to remind you of what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, it doesn't have to be this big, great art masterpiece, but it has to be something to remind you of what you're trying to attain. Writing down your goals. I mean, that is like simple, basic stuff. But people will just cut those corners like, I don't have to do that. I'll memorize it. I'll remember it. Getting it down, solidifying what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, self-affirming yourself, telling you who you are and what you're about. I mean, I'm going to constantly repetition this thing into your freaking brain because it's just that important. It's simple, but it's necessary. You need these things in your life. Anything else that you?
No, it's true. The most successful people in the world say these things, and a lot of people are like, okay, but all right, write down my goals. Okay, have a vision board. All right, I have to be disciplined. And yet, the people who don't get what they want out of life, they don't do those things. They do it for a week, and then they don't get what they're looking for, and then they give up, and then they go back into that negative mindset. And listen, there's a reason why you got to write things down. Everything is a blueprint first. Everything needs to be written down to bring it into existence. When you write something on paper, you're bringing a thought that's in your mind and you're bringing it into reality. You're bringing it into the real world. There's a lot of power to that. Think about it. If you live in New York City, I don't care where you live, but if you see all these skyscrapers that are up, they didn't just magically appear there. They were planned thoughtfully first before any type of construction was started, before anything was built. It needed to be put on paper. It started here, and then it was put on a blueprint. And
now,
yeah, go ahead.
Anybody that was an amazing leader in this world, anybody, Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln, I mean, anybody you could possibly think of in history, they had a thought, they had a dream, and they had a purpose. And people follow people with purposes. If you walk with intention and you live your life like this is what you're here on this planet for, people will follow you. People will believe in you. And you will accomplish more than you can ever imagine. But you got to get crystal clear on it. You got to do the fundamentals that are going to get you to where you need to go.
And also understand that 95, maybe a little more, I'll say 97% of the people out there, they don't have this mentality. So understand that this can be a lonely road to go down because there's going to be times where you only have yourself. And don't expect everyone to be jumping on the parade at first and cheering you on and pushing you to move forward. This is why we talked about faith. You got to have faith in yourself first. That has to be first and foremost. You have to remind yourself why it is that of what you're doing every single day. That's non-negotiable.
Yeah, and this all ties into recovery because your purpose is to live a sober, clean, respectful, integrity-filled life.
Yeah.
And there's going to be people trying to hold you back. There's going to be people that aren't going to believe on you because of your past and what you've done to them, and they're going to be like, yeah, whatever, you ain't about that. And, you know, you have to have that drive, that faith, and everything like that, and people will follow you. But have a vision. Have it crystal clear on what you're trying to attain. And go by it step by step, day by day, and don't ever give up.
And real quick, I'm glad that you brought in the recovery aspect because I know a lot of people and people that I actually enjoy, like I enjoy hanging out with, but I know what it looks like to be in recovery and not have a purpose, to settle in life, to feel like you're just trudging through and carrying this burden of living, and it doesn't look pretty. I promise. It has everything to do with recovery and living a life that you get excited about. That's what recovery has brought us to.
Yes.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. I think most people who get sober don't have this way of thinking, and to me it's devastating because I feel this way and I'm not doing anything special. I'm trying to convey to people how to live this life for themselves.
And that's why our purpose is so powerful, because we found a niche market in things that we're so passionate about. This is the Recovery Warrior Program. This isn't just get clean and live. This is create the most amazing life for you, unlock your true potential, your true strength, the things that you were meant to do before you even did drugs, hitting your highest potential in life. That's what we're training to you. So if it seems like we're doing a little life coaching on your recovery, guess what? We are, because we're not going to accept you living a mediocre life. You could do that on your own, but we're going to lead you, because we're leaders, to do what you are meant to do and what your fullest potential is, because I want you to finish this program and be like, this was the best decision I ever made. Yeah. I'm so grateful that I've actually had this information because it made me a better person. Now, I'm not saying every person watching this is going to follow step by step every single module, follow through with everything, because some of the stuff you're going to be like, this is not me, I don't want to do it. And that's totally fine. But if you get one nugget out of this, one thing that changes your life, it's priceless. And maybe we're really passionate about this because this is the way we live.
Yeah.
This is what we're about. I was at the bottom of the barrel. I lost everything. Now I'm at the top of the heights that I couldn't even have imagined. And I'm only going higher. And it's because of these fundamentals that we implement in our lives. We don't just tell you to do these things and not live it. I live this, and my life has been exceptional, better than I could ever imagine in my whole life. And I'm so grateful. And it's my gift and my purpose to share these things with you. And when I met Connor, he had the same mentality. And we figured out and edged out a niche market on how we can really serve people in a very unique way. And that's what we're here for. We're not here to just get you sober and get you through your life. We're building warriors. We're building amazing, incredible people that are going to take on the world and be the best them that they could be.
And another really interesting thing, when you start to live with your purpose and you really dive in, you carry yourself in a totally different light. The way you interact with people, the things that you partake in. I mean, going to the gym, you're extra motivated. Sticking to a strict diet, like there's these different areas of your life that you really hone in on because you want to get better. It gives you the confidence that you might have not had before you jumped into it. So what I want to show you is maybe how you can develop your purpose and give you a list of things that can really get the wheels turning and give you a little bit more insight of maybe what your purpose is.
Excellent. So what we need to do, we need to break this down. You need to get an action plan. Like I said, get some pen and paper out and write it down. Write what you're trying to do. Start from the end and work your way back. Figure out where you need to go. Figure out how you're going to go from exactly where you want to be and work your way back. And then when you get to your where you are right now, make baby step plans. Actions you can take daily. What's the first thing that you need to do? Figure it out. Figure that thing out and do one thing at a time. Break it down to micro goals that you can achieve that are easy, attainable, and bite-sized, and that you can actually celebrate after you win. By breaking it down to little teeny goals, it makes it a lot easier to digest, because if you're like, I want to climb Mount Everest, you're out of your mind. You're not going to do it. But if I tell you to go up 10 flights of stairs every day for 365 days, that's the height of Mount Everest, you'd be like, okay, I could do that. And that's what you need to do with your plan. So you got to break it down into smaller goals and focus on the smaller things in front of you and progressively get there. But before you do that, you have to have an action plan. You have to know where you're going and how you're getting there.
Yeah, and I kind of look at it like, right, the way that we're even making this course, for instance, like we had a vision, an overall vision of what we want to do. And then you break off how to make this the most efficient that you possibly can. And it's not to cram a bunch of work in each and every day and just kind of wing it. Things need to be planned and organized and broken down. I know I've used the example, how do you clean a really messy house? And you just focus on room by room. That's it. You go in, you clean your closet, and then you start cleaning your bed and things like that. So
yeah, and like we had a vision, and my objective here was not to have some bunch of bells and whistles and have fancy editing and video and all this stuff to impress you with my videographer skills. It was about the content. It's about the purpose of what we're trying to do. We're two addicts that made it from the bottom. Now we're here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like you. I was exactly where you are. I got a missing leg. I got back pain. You know, this guy's been in jail. I mean, we're two hot messes that really figured out how to do it. And we wanted to project that. So that's part of what we really tried to attain, being very intimate and building rapport. I mean, we're in an apartment right now, and we're doing this very raw, because that's what addiction is. Yeah. Really, just to show you that anybody can do it. You just got to take those steps.
Something that's very basic is whatever your idea is, something that you want to pursue, you have to allocate time every single day to what that is and to obtaining that. And so it's really like, for instance, when I first started on this path of wanting to be a recovery coach, wanting to serve and contribute to people, first off, I had the experience, so I knew what I wanted to convey to people, but I didn't have the audience yet. And so I knew I needed to allocate time every single day to be able to reach people somehow, some way. And the way that I did that was through social media. And that was how my path was going to be. That does not need to be your path. You don't need to go on social media and do that. But the idea here is that I had some type of plan about how I wanted to convey my message, my target audience. I had all that established. And I made it a goal every single day to make, I think my first goal was I'm going to make 5 videos every single day on TikTok. And I did that. And I knew if I did that for a long period of time, I set a year for myself that some good things were going to happen over that time frame. I didn't get worried about the long-term aspirations. I knew each and every day I needed to hone in and dedicate that time. So, and eventually I will get to that goal.
Yeah, and for opportunities, you got to put yourself in the right places. If he wanted to reach an audience, he put himself on social media. Mm-hmm. But if you want opportunities to do a specific thing, you have to put yourself in the right places. And this means hanging out with the right people, finding the right places to go. Like, who do you want to become? Who do you want to be associated with? Who would add value to your life? And how could you add value to their lives? Get in those circles. Start bumping shoulders with people you want to become. You never want to be the smartest person in the room, or else you're in the wrong room. I always aspirate to hang out with people that are higher than me. Like, I have a bunch of mentors. I have probably 5 mentors that I speak to at least on a weekly basis. And they push me and strive me to be the best person that I could be. And they're awesome at their specific function that they're good at. And I try to surround myself with people that are better than me, and people that I want to become, and people that I want to be around. Go to experiences. It could be as going to specific events. Be intentional of where you go, where you spend your time, where you spend your energy. You don't want to waste your time on the couch watching TV. What are you going to get? You're going to run the reruns of Supernatural or Grey's Anatomy? I mean, where is that going to get you?
And the shows are everywhere.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
You run through one show, you're going to keep...
Everything distracts you from what your purpose is. You need to, like I said, eat, sleep, and breathe what you're trying to do. And if you're not even there, get in those positions. Get around those people. Go to those events. You know, me, I was a personal development people. I followed Tony Robbins around the freaking country because I wanted to know everything that he knew. I went to John Maxwell events, Mary Morrissey, all these people because I wanted to know what they knew. I wanted to become them. And you know what? I learned a lot over the years. And whatever your special niche is, whether it be cooking or dance or music or whatever it is, get involved in those communities. Be that person. Live it.
Yeah, and begin to develop yourself in all areas too. It's funny, you were saying that, you know, you followed Tony Robbins around, and I was thinking of where I was when I started on my path with this, and I was in a huge amount of debt. And I was in no position to, I was buying courses. I was looking into like real estate, getting into like selling real estate and stuff I've never done before. I really had no business doing. Joining, you know, multi-level marketing, just trying a bunch of different things. And I just started to be open, and I just started to do things that really financially I couldn't afford, but I didn't stop it from, I was hungry. I was hungry for more. And that's what you need. You need to be hungry about developing yourself in life and chasing what it is that is worthwhile.
So one of the last points that I really want to make before we actually show you an amazing graph on really what purpose is all about, I want you to be okay with failure. Fail fast, fail often, fail forward, but keep moving. I mean, I learned more things from my failures than I ever did from my victories. And you're never going to know unless you try. So go to that event. Talk to that person. Experience that thing that you never did. Keep moving forward. Just keep doing the things that you're doing and be totally laser focused on what you're trying to attain, and you will always accomplish your goals. The person that's persistent always does it. You know, Walt Disney was kicked out of about 50 different newspaper places, and they all told him that he had no creativity. The guy created Walt Disney, bro. You know, the most imaginative thing in the whole universe. But he had no creativity. You know, Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he made the light bulb. Michael Jordan again. You know, be persistent. Be okay to failure. People learn from failure. You get better and better each and every time.
Steve Jobs lost his own company.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs literally got bought out of his own company
And then got back in.
and then got back in at another time. I
Yeah.
mean, that's insane.
Yeah. Elon Musk spent every single dollar he had to make a rocket to go into outer space. I mean, bankrupted his companies just to do this, and he finally succeeded. So you got to have this kind of drive. But we're going to show you right now a diagram that shows you the different functions of purpose and your career and your calling and all of these different things to make it really clear to how these things kind of mesh together. And yeah, I really hope you enjoy it. And I hope you got a lot out of this module because it's a very important one. When you find your purpose, you find your life.
All right, everybody. So this is the finding your purpose diagram. What I need you to do here is, this is what you're looking at. You're basically looking at 4 circles that all intertwine. And this is how you're going to end up finding your purpose, is when these 4 different circles end up meeting in the middle. So the first thing I want you to do is, this circle here represents what you love. What is it that you love to do? This second circle over here on my left is, what are your strengths? What are the things that you're really knowledgeable about? What are the things that you know about? Specialized knowledge. This third circle here on the bottom is what you can get paid for. Now, it might not be what you get paid for right now, and that's okay. That doesn't matter. It's what can you possibly get paid for? This fourth circle here is what the world needs. How can the world need the services that you might possibly provide? And this is what I mean. So for me, when all these 4 circles intertwine, this is what your purpose is. When you can find these 4 circles align, when you write and make a list, you're going to find your purpose. And so for myself, what I love helping people in recovery. I love being able to contribute and make people grow as individuals when they were struggling with addiction. That excites me. I absolutely love that. What are my strengths? Well, my strengths were, I knew a lot in addiction and what that was like. Now my strengths are how I got out of that, how I got sober, and the things that work for me in my recovery. What I get paid for. And also you can add in the strengths with communication and leadership qualities, things like that. You got to think about what your personal strengths are. What can I possibly get paid for? And the things that I can possibly get paid for is recovery coaching, group coaching, courses, marketing. If I implement advertising with my social media, there's different things that you can get paid for in many different ways. What the world needs. The world needs someone who can help them in recovery. So I'm just giving you my example here, and this is what my purpose is. So you need to think about, I'm going to give this for an example, and this is going to sound crazy, but what is something that you love? Let's say you love strawberries. This is something that you're passionate about. You absolutely love it. You're going to list a bunch of things that you love. You put them in the circle here. What is it that you love? Then you're going to put, what are your strengths? Maybe you know a lot about strawberries. Maybe you're familiar with certain types and how to grow and plant strawberries and where the best strawberries are from. Maybe you're really knowledgeable about it. How can you get paid for strawberries? You can make a YouTube channel. You can create your own strawberry brand. You can create strawberry jam. You know, you got to think about how are different ways that you can use this specific niche to get paid for. What the world needs. The world doesn't maybe need strawberries. People absolutely love strawberries. So I need you to make a list of, what are the things that you love? What are your strengths? What could you possibly get paid for with the things that you love and what your strengths are? And in what way does the world need this thing? What is it that you can offer that the world would buy into? When all these 4 circles align, you're going to find that this is your purpose. And you're going to find too, and different areas where these circles line, like let's say what your strengths are and what you get paid for. Where these two circles align, that's your profession. Now, when you got what you love and what your strengths are, where these two align, that's your passion. What you love and what the world needs, that is your mission. What the world needs, what you can get paid for, that's your vocation. And when three align, what you get paid for, what your strengths are, what the world needs, that's your cause. What you love, what your strengths are, what the world needs, that is your calling. So you got to play with this list. I want you to absolutely pack it out, make as much on each list as you possibly can, and get to thinking about how you can deliver this to the world. Come up with what your possible purpose is. And so this can be very beneficial for you. And so get to thinking and make sure you do a lot of writing and come up with something that works for you.